What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Got some news on Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, the rematch. I got the venue that the fight is going to take place at. As we know, there's been a lot of rumors that has been leaked here the last several weeks that have pretty much told you what date it's going to take place on, and that's November the 9th. But I got the venue that fight's going to take place at. The only thing that was holding it up was the NBA schedule. They was trying to figure out was the Los Angeles Lakers or the Los Angeles Clippers would be playing on that date, November the 9th. If that was the case, then they would have to move the Wilder-Ortiz rematch to Las Vegas, MGM Grand. The schedule came out today. That is, the NBA schedule came out today, and I checked both teams' schedule, and both teams will not be playing on November the 9th at the Staples Center. In fact, both teams will be off on that date. So that paves the way for Deontay Wilder versus Luis King Kong Ortiz to take place in the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, on November the 9th. Now, only thing else we need to find out is what pay-per-view outlet will the fight be on. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be on Fox pay-per-view, not Showtime pay-per-view, which showed Deontay Wilder's last fight against Tyson Fury. As you know, he's been doing he commentated on the last fight, August the 3rd, between Adam Konoski and Chris Arreola, which was going to be a candidate for Fight of the Year, which was a great heavyweight matchup. You haven't seen in a long time heavyweights throw that many punches per round, and I think the total punches of both fighters was either a record or close to a record. As we saw, Deontay Wilder commentated on that fight along with Lennox Lewis, and so that leads me to believe that he and then another thing he did before that fight, he worked the post-fight analysis of the Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia fight. He did that working with Fox on Fox, working with Fox on the post-fight analysis for that fight. So he's been working with Fox for the last two big fights on Fox. So that leads me to believe that they're gonna have that Luis Ortiz fight on Fox pay-per-view too, as they've done. Seem like they do a better job of promoting pay-per-view than Showtime. You look at the numbers that Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia did. They did around about 400,000 pay-per-views. You look at what Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman did. I think they did around 500,000 or close to 600,000 pay-per-views, which was good. So I think behind that momentum that they've had over those last two fights, I think Deontay Wilder and his team was going to go that route of getting Fox pay-per-view to promote the fight between him and Luis Ortiz, as they'll look to expand on the numbers that he did with Tyson Fury, which did around 325,000 on Showtime, which is good when you consider that Showtime doesn't have the viewership as a Fox does. So that's just my guess on that, but I'm pretty much 100% on the location of the fight. Again, now that the Lakers and the Clippers schedule have came out, and neither one of those teams will be playing on November 9th at the Staples Center. Again, that paves the way for Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz 2 to take place at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. You know, upon the request of Luis Ortiz, he had a fight down there. I think he fought on the undercard of I think it might have been Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter Jr. fight, and he got a lot of love for the fans down there. And he said that I think him and his team were the one really pushed for this fight to be in LA. Deontay Wilder didn't object to it, as he had a good reception from the fans when he fought Tyson Fury in LA. So that's why they were looking to have that fight take place in LA. As we know, Errol Spence fight coming up next month against Sean Porter will be in LA Staples Center. So LA is right now is getting a lot of the big fights right now. You know, it had been a while before now that they had big fights. I think the last big fight they had before these two fights coming up was Lennox Lewis versus Vitaly Klitschko. That was ended up being Lennox Lewis' last fight, which was great, bloody, nasty type of fight, man. And he almost knocked one of Vitaly Klitschko's eyeballs out of his head, man. And they stopped that fight on a brutal cut. which was not a head, but believe it or not, it was actually a punch. I think it was a straight right hand, which was one of which was Lennox Lewis' money punch. Split open Vitaly Klitschko, man. Split him open like a grape, man. Split him up like a cantaloupe, man. And the referee, upon the doctor's request, ended up stopping that fight. So since that fight, LA hadn't really been getting a lot of the big fights. I think the last one after that was, I forgot about that, the Sugar Shane Mosley versus Antonio Margarita, which had an electric atmosphere. That was a big fight, but it wasn't a pay-per-view fight. That fight was on HBO, but Sugar Shane Mosley pulled an upset and ended up knocking Margarita out, which was an upset considering Margarita was a guy that just came off of stopping Miguel Cotto, and he was on quite a winning streak as he was dominating his opponents and stopping them in dramatic fashion. So Sugar Shane Mosley was able to, at his advanced age, kind of turn back the clock and was able to stop Margarita, due to the fact that I can't not mention to the fact that him and his trainer in particular, Nassim Richardson, found out in the dressing room before the fight that Margarita and his team was trying to plaster those wraps and load their gloves, load their hand wraps up, and they was able to get the people in charge of the event back there, and they was able to get him to retape his hands and do it the correct way. And he came out in the fight and got dominated basically from start to finish by Sugar Shane Mosley. And that fight was able to get Sugar Shane Mosley the fight with Floyd Mayweather, a huge pay-per-view fight later on that I think it was either late on that year or earlier that next year. I think that he ended up fighting Mayweather earlier that next year. So anyway, it landed him the big money fight with Floyd Mayweather. So outside of those two fights, LA hadn't had a lot of significant big fights, but now they're back in the game, man, and it looks like I said, I'm gonna confirm that Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz 2 will be at the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, on November 9th, and I'm pretty sure, I ain't sure as I as on the location of the fight, but I'm pretty sure that the fight is going to be on Fox pay-per-view. I'm 75% sure that the fight will be on Fox pay-per-view. That's not 100%. It's still outside chance it could be on Showtime pay-per-view, but all indications are that the fight is going to be on Fox pay-per-view. But I can confirm to you again, the location of the fight will be Los Angeles, California, Staples Center on November the 9th. Wilder, Ortiz 2, gonna be a good one. And can't wait for it, man. In the week of the fight, I'll be able to break that fight down and give you my prediction. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.